Well, welcome to Curtain Call. My name is Jeff Dunne, and we are here today at the Laurel Mill Playhouse at 508 Main Street in beautiful downtown historic Laurel. We are here because the Playhouse is going to be performing H.M.S Pinafore. That's going to be opening this Friday, April 28th, and playing through May 21st. We play on Fridays and Saturdays starting at 8 o'clock. And we also have two matinees that are going to be on Sundays at 2, and those are on May 14th and May 21st. So if you are not familiar with H.M.S Pinafore or The Lass That Loved a Sailor, this is the fourth opera collaboration between Gilbert and Sullivan, one of their most successful. It originally opened in 1878 and ran for 571 shows, making it the second longest running musical of that time. Opened originally in the Opera Comique in London and was considered one of their biggest international successes. The gist of this story is that it focuses on Josephine and a fellow named Rafe Rackstraw. Josephine is the daughter of the captain. Rafe is a lowly sailor, and their love, which unfortunately is a little bit strained because of the disparity in rank. Josephine is encouraged to consider marrying Sir Joseph Porter, who is the Admiralty of the Navy, if I can spit those words out. Specifically, he is, I should say, the title is the Lord of the Admiralty. This fellow over here. And she's less than thrilled at that idea. However, as Sir Joseph Porter encourages her, explaining that love sort of levels all ranks, she takes that as encouragement to go fall even further in love with Rafe Rackstraw. And as is most common with Gilbert and Sullivan musicals, they have a sort of surprise ending, which I won't spoil for you, so you'll come and see the show. For the moment, though, we are here to interview some of the cast. You may be wondering why I'm dressed the way that I am. I am, in fact, one of the members of the cast. My name's Jeff Dunne. I'm playing the delightful, despicable character known as Dick Deadeye. He is, perhaps, in my personal opinion, while a small part, one of the most fun to play because I get to be very, very nasty. Really having a good time with that. A couple of the folks that we have here with us, I'm going to introduce themselves. Jean, do you want to start and tell a little bit about who you are and the nature of your character?
If you insist. My name is Jean Valendo, and I am playing the role of Sir Joseph Porter, Knight Commander of the Order of the Bath, First Lord of the Admiralty. Mm-hmm. Yes, quite. Right. And this is a bucket list role for me, so I'm very glad to be playing this role.
Excellent. Emma, how about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Emma Jensen, and I am playing the role of Buttercup, who is the bumboat woman who has a lot to do with the surprise ending.
Indeed, the great reveal.
Yes.
So, either one of you, what possessed you to do a Gilbert and Sullivan musical?
Why not?
Why not? Have either of you done Gilbert and Sullivan before?
Indeed, I have.
Absolutely.
Which ones?
I was in H.M.S Pinafore last fall.
I think I've heard of that.
Where I played a lowly sailor. Yes, so I was quite thrilled to have the opportunity to audition for Sir Joseph.
Excellent. And Emma, how about you?
The most recent one that I did was Ruddigore, or The Witch's Curse, where I played Rose Maybud, the young heroine of that one.
Oh, very nice indeed. Very nice. All right. Well, are there any things about performing this show or Gilbert and Sullivan in general that you find particularly challenging in comparison to others?
The words.
The words.
Yes.
The words and
It's
the music.
the words and the music. It's Gilbert and Sullivan. They're
Yes.
challenging in the way of just making sure you get the right words
Yes.
at the right time.
They do seem to delight in writing tongue twisters for the ensemble to sing at great speed.
Yes.
Now, how long do you think it took you, in terms of just going over these, to feel comfortable with the music and the lines?
Well, I had the luxury of an 8-week rehearsal period last fall as a member of the ensemble, so I was already very well acquainted with the ensemble.
I can attest to that. He
pieces.
came in the first rehearsal and he knew everything cold.
Yeah. He thought I was a genius.
I really did.
Until I told him I'd just done the show.
Now we know better. How about you?
I'm still working on it. Hopefully I'll be ready by opening.
Well, that's days away, so you're in good shape. Is there anything that you hope that the audience takes away from this show? Emma, you want to go first? He's contemplating it.
He's contemplating it. I just hope that people come out to see the show. What's interesting about seeing a live show is that it is live. It is not taped. You are seeing people who are passionate about what they do, and they are having fun at what they do. And I hope that portrays to the audience, and they walk away just having fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope they enjoy the whole experience. Personally, I think it's next to impossible to attend a Gilbert and Sullivan show and not enjoy it.
Walk away singing the song.
The foot gets
for the next
foot gets tapping, and the earworms stay in your head for the next week.
They do very, very catchy music. All right. Well, we're going to take a short break and return with a few other cast members.
A college security officer called to tell me there was a drinking party on campus. The officer said there had been excessive drinking, and our son was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. He said my husband and I should come as soon as we could. I knew my son would face distractions and temptations when he went away to school. He already had unfortunate experiences with alcohol, and he was a little too good at fitting in with the crowd. I had no idea things could get so much worse, so fast. A nurse suggested we attend Al-Anon family groups, even though our son claimed his drinking was no big deal. He said he was not an alcoholic and that he could quit whenever he wanted. I didn't want to go to an Al-Anon meeting, but I'm sure glad I went. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Okay. Well, welcome back to Curtain Call. We're here with 3 other members of the cast of H.M.S Pinafore. And why don't we start with themselves introducing themselves. Tania, how about if we start with you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
The part you're playing.
My name is Tania Bindhoff, and I'm singing Josephine, so I'm singing Captain Corcoran's daughter.
Excellent.
My name's Matthew Frieswick, and I'm singing Captain Corcoran, Josephine's father.
All right. Gary?
My name's Gary Urice, and I'm playing the part of Rafe Rackstraw, the low-ranking sailor who's in love with Josephine, the captain's daughter.
Yes. So here's the happy couple right here. He is the absolute antithesis of my character, who is grungy and dirty, and he is the, if I believe I quote, the smartest sailor in the fleet, or something to that effect. So one interesting little tidbit about this particular crew. So 2 of these folks are married, Matt, Tania. So what is it like playing a father-daughter set of roles on the set?
I mean, it makes rehearsing lines outside of rehearsal pretty easy.
Yeah.
There's that. It's not the first time we've actually been in this situation.
Father-daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna...
Yeah, the last time we did this was Sweeney Todd. So he was Judge Turpin and I was Joanna, so this time it's significantly less creepy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There's that.
Excellent. Gary, have you done other Gilbert and Sullivan shows before this one?
I have not. This is a first for me.
Yeah.
I actually never really thought that I would have the opportunity to do a Gilbert and Sullivan show. But it's not something that I ever thought that, like, oh yeah, I would definitely do that. But the opportunity came around and the part interested me, so I thought I would go and audition. And it's been a lot of fun, and I really I've enjoyed learning more about the Gilbert and Sullivan musicals and operas. And
so have you been watching other Gilbert and Sullivan shows besides this one?
I have, yeah. I was relatively familiar with Pirates of Penzance before this, and I had actually, I was at least a little bit familiar with H.M.S Pinafore, but not not to the extent that I am now, obviously. So, but yeah, I've been watching some videos and some performances to kind of, study up, kind of get some notes from, more experienced actors who do that kind of thing all the time.
How about you two? Have you watched other renditions of H.M.S Pinafore in preparation for this?
I actually have not. I saw a production that young Vic did about 10 years ago, but I haven't seen any other Pinafores. I have a tendency to copy, so.
And it's not like you're new to Gilbert and Sullivan.
No, I'm not. No.
So what other Gilbert and Sullivan shows have you done?
I have done, sorry.
Oh, yes, yeah.
We're going to get to him.
That's fine.
I have done Pirates of Penzance. I did it 3 times in a year. The last time I did it was here, actually. I've done that one. I have done The Gondoliers and Trial by Jury and Utopia Limited. And I've stage managed Mikado.
Wow. And which of those is your favorite?
Pirates.
Really? Okay.
Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah. Matthew, how about you?
This is the first time that I'm doing a Gilbert and Sullivan show, but it's not the first time that someone in my family has sung this role. My grandfather actually sang Captain Corcoran back in his day, and managed to bloody his own nose with his Cat of Nine Tails at the end
This
of the
one?
show. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, this is actually the
This is the
very prop that he used. It's kind of it's like a family heirloom at this point. But
Are you worried that you're going to do the same thing?
you know what? It kind of vibrates every now and then, and I get this weird humming in my ears. But no.
I've noticed that when I hand it to you during the show, it seems drawn to you.
No, that's terror, and that's me. I'm worried about to create my lines. So,
Excellent. Gotcha. So Gary, when you've been preparing for this or other shows, do you tend to watch other performances of the character that you're going to play?
Yeah, it's kind of a habit. When I decide that I'm going to go audition for a role, I actually start watching things because now if it's a role that I'm very familiar with and like a production that I've seen or listened to many times, then I tend to not bother. But if it's a show that I'm not very familiar with, then I'll go and the watching of the performances is actually a factor in whether or not I will actually audition for the show. Because I try and find a performance to see is this something that I want to be in, and then after that I look at the characters and see what can I see myself playing and things like that. So yeah, it's something that I do more often than not, depending on how
Were there any
familiar I am.
characters in this show that you would desperately not have wanted to play?
Josephine.
Maybe.
yeah.
So naturally. Right? Same for you.
I mean, it is 2017, but I think the range will be a little difficult.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not a soprano.
No.
So now, for any of you, was there anything that's happened during the rehearsals, the lead up, that you consider to be the funniest shareable event that has happened?
Shareable. Ooh.
Well, I know there have been plenty of normal stuff like line flubs and things like that, and we haven't had the biggest window of time to get this up to speed as has ever been. So with that sense of urgency comes lots of lapses in brain work.
Right.
Yeah.
Matthew, have you ever, say, walked on stage and started singing in another language?
Only in opera.
Most of the time.
Yeah, but to Gary's point that this has been put up rather quickly. If you're looking for that unique, faux pas moment, could happen during a run. So you should come out and see it.
The earlier, the better.
Yeah. If that's your thing, you go to live theater and everybody's rooting for a mistake. It's like, ooh, that was a good one. Yeah, no. This is gonna be, I'm really, really proud of how everybody has put this show together in such a short time. It's really gelled amazingly well, very quickly.
Yeah, we have
absolutely.
a fun cast.
Absolutely. So if you had to pick a different character to play, besides the one that you're doing right now, you could pick any of them, which ones would you pick? Tania? Put you on the spot.
Probably Buttercup.
Buttercup?
Yeah, just because she's kind of a gypsy, and there's that intrigue and that mystical thing about her. So, yeah, Buttercup.
Matthew? Also Buttercup, yeah?
Yeah, she actually did steal mine. Great Minds or something like that. No, but I keep going back to, what was it? Was it Dead Poet Society? or something, or like Good Will Hunting. Like I have this clip from a movie that keeps coming to my mind of Matt Damon playing Buttercup. I don't know where it's from. That's what I thought of.
Well, it's at the moment it's a bit hard because I'm a bit young for some of the other male roles, but I really love some of the captains and some of Sir Joseph's songs, and so at some point or another that would be a really fun role to play. Either of those, I would have a good time with that. What was the song that you found the hardest to learn, or the hardest to sing? Either one. Matthew, you first.
Like hardest, I guess.
You've got that duet with Deadeye. I know that's got to be tough.
Oh, that's tough because Jeff over here, he's a fine actor, and I try to keep it together when he's going through his Deadeye shtick. So that's fun. But all the weird phrases in Things Are Seldom What They Seem with Buttercup, getting those, to roll off the tongue was no small feat.
How about you? It's hard to pick. You have a lot of songs. Yeah. There's a couple songs that are just a bit difficult because they're a bit, they're just a bit high. For most of my time singing in this style of music, I've always kind of considered myself a baritone, and my vocal teacher said I was a baritone, and so I was just like, oh yeah, and so when I auditioned for this role, and kind of looking at the score, like these notes are a little high. I don't know how easy this is going to be, but it's managed to come together, and I'm messing up less than I thought I would. So right. But yeah, but I would say probably hardest song to learn. Probably maybe our duet. Maybe that one. The Rafe and Josephine duet. Mm-hmm. There's a couple, and there's a phrase at the end where we have to be, where we're harmonizing with each other, and we have to be right on time, and we don't have a whole lot of cues from the music itself. Yeah. And so we kind of have to be in tune with each other with that, and so that can be a bit of a challenge. But,
That's doubly so because, Gilbert and Sullivan wrote operetta, and so they used to usually have a pit in front of the stage with a conductor and everything.
True.
Yeah. And we're kind of on our own out here, so getting those moments to sync up is without a baton to follow sometimes. Yeah. And especially
since during that part we're not looking at each other.
Right, yeah.
We're just looking out into the
park
audience.
And bark.
And it's just okay, I hope she's going to sing this at the same time I sing it. Your ears pricked up, radar going. Yeah. Yep.
That's actually what I'm thinking too. I'm like, all right, I'm trying to breathe.
Well, good. We're on the same
breathe
page.
With you so I can.
Tania, how about you?
Memorization would probably be the end of Act 1 because it's a patter song and there's just so many words and they're so fast. Yeah. Vocally, my aria at the beginning of Act 2. It sits a little high, and I've been doing a lot of lower repertoire. Yep. So Josephine just sits about a third higher from what I've been doing the last few months, so it's been a nice little stretch.
Yeah. Now so as a opera comique, the show is primarily singing, but there is some dialogue. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you sort of look forward to the dialogue as breaks, or is it just, oh no, now I've got the dialogue? No.
No, I prefer the sung stuff. For me, it's easier to memorize music. Lyrics are easier for me to memorize than dialogue. I can't remember the last time that I had to do dialogue because I always do opera. So it's.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think it's just more fun to memorize songs as well, because you get to sing, you get to act through the song, and it's fine. Plus, I have a giant chunk of text that is basically straight from Shakespeare, so I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got quite a chunk there in words that it's almost impossible to even know what they mean. Yeah. In fact, part of the gag is that it's completely incomprehensible, and so we'll just say, oh yeah, no, great, it's fun. How about you? You same preference, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the music is challenging. I mean, it's not overly so, but it's still nice sometimes to get a bit of a break from singing. You know, I this tech week came off a big weekend packed of singing, so I was last night I was thankful to. If you guys don't know, we're in tech week rehearsals right now, but
starting this Friday.
So the dialogue is usually a nice break from singing, and I think it breaks it up. I mean, you know, opera as an art form can get kind of difficult to follow because most of it's in a foreign language. You have to look at super titles, and it's all sung, and you know, having some dialogue and things to break it up is.
There's never a break, and it's hard to understand too, because it's always sung, and it's so high. So it's
that's what I was going to say. Just like besides us, I think it's a nice little inclusion for audience members who may not be completely used to going to see, you know, opera or operetta, and you know, they like to have included text, and you know, like you said, it's just easier to follow if you're just speaking it right. You know, in just plain English. So
now we are in Tech Week, and so we are now dressing in costume and going through as we go through these rehearsals. Is it easier, do you think, to be in character, to get in the moment when you're all
Absolutely.
dressed?
no question.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, there are a few steps. The first step to getting into character is memorizing the lines rather than reading off the script. Second step for me is costume.
Yeah.
Third step is stage lighting, and the fourth step finally is having an audience.
Yeah.
And then that's when you're fully into the character.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Just as a reminder, this is Tech Week, which means that the show is going to open this coming Friday, which is May 28th, if I'm remembering the date correctly, 29th, 28th? April. We're not in May yet. We are in April still. It
We
feels
run into
like
May.
but it isn't.
Yeah.
April 28th,
Yep.
if I've got the date correctly. That's this Friday, and the show will run Fridays and Saturdays from this Friday, April 28th, until May 20th. But we also have 2 matinees, and those are on May 14th and 21st on the Sundays. The matinees are at 2 p.m., and the shows on Fridays and Saturdays start at 8. You can obtain tickets at laurelmillplayhouse.org, and those tickets are $23 for general admission and $17 for seniors, students, and active military. And I think that was all the comments that I had. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much to the cast for being willing to come and answer some questions on the spot. They read the questions that I had, and then I proceeded to ask them completely different ones. So a big thank you to all of you, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.